Hello, my name is Anne-Marie, and I made up my mind that in the coming year I will be launching this channel. So on a coaching call with my own coach, I shared this vision for 2021 that I will have this channel, I will launch it, I will show up, I will be visible, I will be all these things. And her encouragement to me was that I could really embody that vision right now and take action and show up and be imperfect. So she encouraged me to go for it, to make a video and just post it, totally imperfect, pretty raw. And that's what I'm doing. This is where I'm going to get started and introduce myself a little bit and a little bit about what you're going to be able to hear from me on this channel over the year to come. I'm still making up my mind about many things, like the frequency that I want to post videos and many of the topics. I haven't made up my mind about exactly what I'll cover, but it's December 17th right now. The year is coming to an end. The winter solstice is coming up in just a couple of days, just a few days away. And I'm using this opportunity to really deeply reflect on all the lessons I've had in the year 2020. I've had some really beautiful lessons, and all the lessons I've had over my lifetime and what's brought me to this moment. And I've been very intentional about making time to do those reflections before I start to make my plans, which is hard because making plans is the exciting part, and thinking about everything that's already happened is kind of dull until you do it. Like, it's a thing that's hard to bring yourself to do. But when you are ready and you sit down and you allow yourself to do it, it's so powerful. So I'll be showing up here more. I will share all about the lessons that have come up in the past year and over my lifetime. I think what I want to leave you with is 2 books that have made the biggest difference in my life in the past year. Both of them, one of them I believe I started reading last December, and the other one I picked up in January. And between these 2 books, I have had some profound shifts. So I'm just going to mention them and give that credit where credit's due. The first book that I read, and I read it through Audible because it's not one that I could have picked up and actually stuck with if I had to do the emotional labor and read at the same time. Reading is not my primary way of learning information. I'm audio and a little bit of a visual before I'm into reading. So that's just not the kind of learner that I am. So that first book was The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel Kolk. And if you haven't heard of it, it's a really fantastic book. But I think I would encourage you to just take a minute to think about that title. Just reflect on the title. The body, the stuff below the neck. Not everything just in the brain, but your whole body can hold on to things well past the time when you've finished thinking about it. And that can have a profound impact on how you live your life. And reading that book is what gave me the impetus to January 1st, 2020, go to my first live in-person yoga class and start yoga. And I can't wait to tell you more about my yoga journey this year, and hopefully to see a lot more of my yoga journey next year. And I'll share that along the way when I come up. But that's the first book. Now, what I tell people when I tell them about this book is it has some parts that are very explicit, I would say, about the way people are traumatized and hurt. And like I already mentioned, I couldn't have picked up that book physically and read it. Listening to it was able to reduce the labor load just enough that I was able to keep going from beginning to end. But it was definitely a tricky book for me to process. So I played a little mind game about it. I'm in education, and I took myself out of the picture as I was listening to the story. And I listened as a practitioner. Like I just put on my practitioner hat. I embodied practitioner as I listened, and I thought about how this would apply in a classroom only. And the outcome was that I also then knew to go and start yoga. I knew that's what I needed next, and I knew to then take the following steps that have led me on the journey of 2020 being what it was. But it began when I put on that practitioner hat and I embodied, I am a teacher, I am a classroom, I see these things, and how does that translate into my work? So that's where it began. And the other book that I read, let's see if I have it behind me. I do. This one is the one that I picked up in January. And it totally changed the trajectory. I knew that this year I was planning to get going on a business. I had some ideas in mind based on my graduate work that I had done, and I was really excited about those. And then I read this book, and it started pushing me on a different path and definitely opened the door to the path that I'm on now. If you stay tuned to my channel, you will hear all about it. But this book is called The Calling: 3 Fundamental Shifts to Get Paid, Stay True, and Do Good by Rha Goddess. And this book is astounding. I actually bought this book in both Audible and hardcover. And her voice is beautiful. So I literally have listened to the book from beginning to end 2 times. I listened to it from beginning to end, not going through every single practice and exercise. And then I bought the book. And now I would say about a quarter of the way through the book, taking a lot of time on each exercise. Often she says, do this for 14 days or over the next 2 weeks, or sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but she just gives you an exercise and you want to continue doing it daily for several days. So it will take you a really long time when you pick it up and go through exercise after exercise. But again, the kind of learner that I am, being able to just listen to the whole book straight through, it was profound in and of itself. And now working through the exercises has been very, very profound. And so that's the other book that I highly recommend. Those are the 2 books that brought me into 2020 with a boom, with a bang. It's been a great year and a hard year. It's been a really hard year. But those challenges have been the pressure for me that have brought me to some new realizations and enlightenments and decisions. And I hope you'll stay tuned. Maybe subscribe, maybe poke around for a few more weeks while I continue to do some of these really casual, just what's on my heart conversations. And let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe. Why not? What's the harm? I look forward to being back soon.